Alrighty, so as I'm pretty sure you guys have all heard, the American dream, is it or is it not dead? A lot of you guys have actually had homework assignments and stuff like that. As of the last few years, I've been getting a lot of DMs from people asking me what the American dream is exactly and if I believe it exists. And I've always stuck to my guns when I've said no, it doesn't exist. And I know what the general idea of it was, but it's been twisted and balled up and thrown into a garbage bin somewhere. So today we're actually going to be checking out a video from this individual here. He also does international content, but not for Germany. But you're going to see a German flag behind me in this next scene because this pertains to a lot of my audience, and you know that everyone's curious about the American dream. Is it dead? Is it alive? Blah, blah, blah. As you guys have probably seen, there's been a strong divide over the last like 3, 4, maybe even 5 years in America in regards to politics and social issues and stuff like that. So obviously, in my opinion, I believe the American dream is dead, and a lot of Americans also would, agree with my statement there. And this man is going to actually detail his thoughts and feelings on it. I'm going to be commentating on what he says and kind of like lining it up to whether or not I think that I agree with what he's saying, and kind of going from there. But just make sure you guys subscribe. A little birdie told me that the Bray gang could not hit 200 likes on this video. I tried to reach out to the individual that I selected for the last like challenge and stuff, because you guys hit that shit mad fast, but prove me wrong. 200 likes. Let's see if we can get that thing on and popping. But let's go ahead and check this thing out. I think we have it set up right here, and the raw scene. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
It's forcing you to do something, or go somewhere, or work somewhere, or be somewhere that you truly despise, and you're doing that just to get to that, or just because you want to maintain that, then you are living a false dream, because that's not your dream.
True. Poetic and very true. The reason they call it the American dream is because you have to be asleep to believe it. True. Hence the dream part of it. Oh, damn. The American dream for who, though?
When you think about the American dream, what do you think about? Like, what are the first images that come to your head?
Actually, I'm curious. Y'all let me know in the comments down below, because that's a very good question. A lot of people have given me very interesting answers when it comes to the idea of the American dream. Like, it's making a lot of money and buying a big house and owning all this property and land and blah, blah, blah. And I personally think that the watered down version of that everybody is ideally trying to seek and has tried to seek for thousands of years is trying to obtain the maximum social status and financial status possible coming from nothing. Because even it doesn't really matter where you come from or how much money you had from the start, you can work your way up to the top no matter what. And that is the American dream. There are so many flaws with that, though. I'm just giving you the watered down version of what it actually is, but I feel like there's so many holes in that and so many flaws and griminess. He's going to get into all that, but that's my interpretation of that. You guys let me know in the comments down below what you think.
You hear the term American dream. For me, I'll tell you the first images that come to my head. Nice house in suburbia America.
Yep.
2-floor house with a white picket fence.
Yep.
Clean.
Look at that nice ass house.
Hill style.
Yep.
Right? A golden Labrador retriever.
Yep.
And on the porch of that nice 2-story house, I see a husband, I see a wife, I see a little girl, and I see a little boy.
That is literally the American dream, but it always ends in some weird chaos towards the end of it, right? Like, that's the dream, and the people who have that picket fence lifestyle is what we call it. There's always a caveat. Maybe there's something going on in the home, maybe like the financial situation isn't what it actually seems to be. There's always a catch, you know what I mean? So I ask you guys, what do you desire for yourselves? Let me know in the comments down below. It's going to be that's a very broad question, but it'll allow me to see where you guys' minds are at, because I was looking at I guess the general German philosophy when it comes to, or Germany's philosophy, but I'll say the German philosophy when it comes to like living life, right? Like lifestyle. And it's being able to appreciate the smaller things, right? Or being able to have the ability to appreciate the smaller things. And there is absolutely no pressure to have more than what you desire, right? Like here, I feel like everyone has their desires and they're also amplified by a competitive atmosphere around them. So it's like initially I wanted a big house, but because everybody has all the eyes on me, I want the biggest house so I can flex in peace. You know what I mean? Like, but in Germany, it seems like it's more of a genuine, no, I just want to work at a bookstore and, you know, make enough so that I can, you know, get some food in my stomach, occasionally go out and go to a nice little restaurant and watch some TV. You know, that seems a lot less stressful. So you don't have to work to the bone to obtain what you want. And so, yeah, you guys let me know in the comments down below what your individual desires are for your life. Like what, and that's, you know, subject to change, but it does give a very vivid picture as to where everyone's mind's at.
Lawn, you see an American flag waving in the wind. That is the idea of the American dream that I get that comes to my head. And I can tell you unequivocally that that dream is dead for me.
It is for me too.
And when I say dead, I don't mean like in a way of it's unattainable or, you know, it's not possible. When I say it's dead, I mean the dream itself, the goals and aspirations to achieve that, to hope to have that in my life is completely dead. Especially since leaving the United States and going somewhere else, it's completely dead. One, that dream is a dream that they tell you to keep you in line and keep you in check and keep you in the system, right? So let's just take the house, for example. That kind of house in the dream is normally going for what? No less than 270, 300,000.
True.
On up, just depending on where
on
you
a
live.
good day.
So just off the bat right there, unless you have an FHA loan, you're going to need at least $60, $70 to even $80,000
on a down payment, bro. Oh my God. Okay, so I just bought a house, right? Let me tell you this little process, and you guys let me know if this is a similar process in Germany. When you buy a house here, there are things I didn't know that you had to pay for. First, there's like the upfront costs, right? You have to pay, I think what's it called? Like a earnest money deposit. So it's something that basically like tells the buyer, like you actually want the place. It's like you're putting in a bid, like a temporary deposit that says, hey, like, cool, I'm interested. Lock me in. I want to sign like the initial papers so that we can, you know, take this process cradle to grave. Boom. Right. So once they pick you, you have to put an earnest money deposit down, and that's typically like $1,000. I'm lucky because the place I bought, I'm living in, so they chopped it down to 500. So then on top of that, like they have these other little fees you have to pay, like because of course there's inspections you have to do on the place, like and these little whatevers, and the seller normally has to you know, cover some of those expenses but not all of them. And that like kind of brings me to the biggest thing that blindsided me before the down payment, right? Because funny thing is, because I'm in the military, I don't really have to put a down payment on the house, which I didn't. But the closing costs is something that nobody talks about. That's a lot of money, guys. Like if you ever like consider buying a house in America, not sure if they have the same thing in Germany, but closing costs are ridiculous. Like I think my closing costs when I was looking at the total was almost $15,000. Now, granted, the seller paid half, I paid the other half, but $15,000 to close, and some of those is like to pay the realtors and whatever. But like I said, I was in a unique situation because I didn't have a realtor. I didn't have any of that because I was living in the place I was buying. I went from renting the place that I live in to buying it, and boom, that's how I got here. But it's a crazy process, man. I'm not sure if it's more complicated or more simple in Germany, but if anybody has details on that, let me know in the comments down below. I'll review the comment and I might even make a video out of it because I think that process is pretty interesting.
You put down on a home.
Yep, right? 30 years.
Now, of course, if your credit is spectacular, maybe you can get away with a little less. Of course, depending on your debt to income ratio,
True.
All that good stuff. But just the home right there,
Yep.
saving that much money up has you chasing. Right now, here's the problem.
Yes.
Not saying that it's unreasonable to save that much money up, but in the system we make our money, we go to work, we clock in, right? We sit there for a couple of hours, we give our time away, and
Yep.
get money for giving our time away. And we do that day after day after day after day after day.
Yes.
When we get paid, we have to pay all of our bills.
It's crazy. Notice what he said. Like, we work and work and work and work and work day after day after day. There is no emphasis to have a rest day. There is none. There is literally none. Like, they say you should take it. No one tells you when you should take it. Typically, the weekend is reserved to rest. But if you think about it, if you look at corporations, they have you working through the weekends. Most corporations do. Some corporations will allow you to like take a Saturday or a Sunday off. More reasonable ones will let you have the weekends off. But typically, every day is fair game. Like, you can literally, they can make you work 7 days a week. If they need you, they will make you work 7 days a week, which is insane. In Germany, like, it's interesting because it's like there's this push to really value yourself, you know, and pretty much take mental health breaks. Like, Sunday is a day of rest so you can like breathe and reset and whatever, because they want to build a quality workforce. It seems like you guys want to build a quality workforce, and you have. I mean, worldwide, people are like, you want some reliable equipment, hit up Germany, man. Everybody seems like they're in a decent mood out there. I mean, minus the customer service people, but you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Our debts, we have some money left for ourselves, then we have to save, not to mention taxes, and it's a lot of stuff. So the point is, to get to just the house for the American dream, you're going to be working probably 10, 15, even 20 years.
True.
Most people are not putting down 20% on a house in the United States.
Nope.
How do I know this? Because the average American doesn't even have $10,000 saved.
Yes, bro. The average American. Okay, it says Federal Reserve reports that 39% of Americans don't have enough money to hand over to cover a $400 emergency. I'm not sure what it's like in Germany, but we'll look at that too. Every adult should have enough money in savings to cover a minimum of 3 months of essential living expenses. Ideally, everyone should have 6 months worth. That means some people still have work to do. But what is the average savings account balance? How much do Americans have? Do they favor physical banks or online ones for their savings accounts? We surveyed 2,000 Americans to find out 71% of Americans have a savings account, which is a good thing. Most Americans, 22%, have 1,000 to 5,000 in savings. 56% of Americans have 5,000 or less in savings, while a third have less than $1,000. The median savings amount is $3,000, while the mean is $26,000. Oh my gosh. Somebody got $26,000 in their bank account? That's tough. The median emergency fund is $2,000, while the mean is $39,000. Who the hell has? Oh my God, bro! Some of these people is loaded. Oh, all right, you don't have to let me know how much you guys have in your savings account in the comments down below. But if you were to take an average estimate guess, like for Germany, what do you think the average, in your opinion, not a fact, but opinion, would be in people's banks on average? Do you think I'm pretty sure Germans save more than American, because the thing is, you could just tell by the culture, right? America, like, we love to flex when we've spent $3,000 on a pair of shoes. But Germans like to flex when they've saved thousands of dollars on the same pair of shoes. So, example, you have an American that goes into a Nike store, buys a pair of whatever, like Nike shoes, let's say Air Force Ones for $3,000. They're ultra rare, right? A German goes into the same store, buys the same pairs of shoes in this second example, but instead of paying $3,000, this person pays $50 and saved thousands of dollars, because they're still worth $3,000, but they end up paying $50. That's a flex. You know what I mean? But America, we flex by saying, man, I paid $3,000 for these shoes, bruh. And people looking at you like you're dumb. But out here, they actually look at you like, wow, he has a lot of money. But in Germany, it's like, nah, that person's dumb. They're gonna go broke really soon if they're not already. You know what I mean? So I don't know. How much do you think the average German household has in their bank accounts, bro? I mean, in their savings. I know that's an invasive question to ask, so that's why I said opinions, not fact. But I feel like on average, it would definitely be more than an American.
Doesn't even have $10,000
average American
in their savings account. how the heck are they putting down 20%
Facts.
on a 300,000,
Facts.
$380,000 home?
Jesus.
It's not happening.
Nope.
Right. So one, just that aspect of the
Bro,
American
that's crazy to me too. Hella Americans got houses like this, bro. Big ass juicy houses, and they're not paid off, bro. Like they're far from paid off. Like biting off more than you can chew, right? Obviously, we know houses are gonna cost a lifetime, like for most people, right? Like $100,000 to $400,000. But I feel like it's a little ambitious to buy like a $300,000+ home, depending on where you are, obviously, but and how much money you're making. Because it's just a lot of money to pay, bro. Like $200K is even a lot, but that's what I wound up paying for my house, you know? And I'm like, geez, like that's a lot of money, bro. Like that. And I still have to pay off the loan. I didn't buy this out in cash or anything. I took out a loan for that, you know? But I feel like that's easier to pay down than $300K. But then someone else would argue that obviously $100K is easier to pay off than $200K. It just baffles me, man. Like this is what we set ourselves up. This is how our society's set. It's crazy.
It tells me that it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the car. The car.
The car, right? Yes.
Everyone forgets. They never mention in the picture.
The car. They automatically assume that every American household comes equipped with a car that is just there. Nah, you got to pay for the car. Most people's cars are not paid off. And if they are, they're beaters and they've been paid off like, 40, 50 years ago, which is fine. But then that ties into the next aspect, which is the maintenance. Basically meaning like you have to work to maintain this lifestyle. But like not just work, you have to work to the bone. Like somebody in that household has to work like a dog to make sure that the American dream is sustained. So I feel like as I've gotten older, I want less and less, man. Like I think when I was younger, I wanted like these fancy things like electronics, fancy house, fancy blah blah. But as I get older, man, I find peace and tranquility and just, I said basically peace twice. But yeah, I find tranquility and just like enjoying the little things, man. Like I have everything I've ever wanted. And I'm content. I'm actually content. And I think by doing all of these reactions to German culture related stuff and just international stuff in general, it's really opened my third eye to that way of thinking. Had I not done that, I feel like it would have taken me a lot longer to get to this point. And I'm not sure if you guys could agree with me, but
next to the house is the foreign imported car of your choice, whichever you choose. Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, whichever. What do you want? Range Rover, right? Again, not only is that the depreciating asset that traps so many of us, it's trapped me, right? Not only is it that, but it's the fact that you have to keep that vehicle up in order to feel adequate in this society. One of the things about the American dream, why it traps us so much, is because it makes us feel like we don't have enough of what we have, right? Your house isn't big enough. Your house isn't new enough. Your car isn't new enough.
Yep.
Your clothes aren't new enough.
Yep.
Right?
It's a social status thing. It's like you have to have the best everything. You have to have the best clothes, the best car, the best like everything. It's ridiculous.
New enough. Your laptop, whatever you're using, it's not new enough. Your TV does not do 4K. It's not new enough.
Nope.
Right? Everything that we are always told that we need by people in our lives, by TV, advertisements, whatever, all of that stuff keeps us in the rat race, in the matrix, chasing this dream that when we actually stop and think about it,
wait, why are we doing this?
It's not even a dream that we dreamt.
And it's crazy. Yeah, it's not even, it really isn't. Like it's something that it's been passed down almost in a weird, twisted way. There's a lot of things, weird things that I feel like America does that I've always been like, that's a little weird, you know, but I'll make a separate video about that. This is exclusively talking about the American dream. There are a lot of sections to this, but yeah, what he said, like this is an ideology that has been passed from generation to generation. And it's just really weird because when you look at it, right, you're like, who specifically is this American dream for? You know, like when was this like initiated, and you know, who was this designed for? Because when you look deeper and deeper into the American dream, you start to realize a lot of massive holes, and you're like, this can only really be relatable to a certain demographic of people. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know, it's different. I feel like the big key here, is making sure you live the life you want to live, and you live it by your own rules. You make your own rules, you set your own goals, your own boundaries, and you live out for yourself, because that's where you will find true happiness. I feel like everyone here in at least America is so caught up in trying to outdo everyone, whether it is in negative aspects or positive aspects, like, ooh, I have the worst this, or I have the best this. It has to always be the worst or the best of something. There's no gray area, apparently. So it's just really weird, and I don't know. I hope that more people are awoken, if that's a word, to the reality of their own desire for what they want for themselves in the future, because this American dream shit is dead, bro.
Honestly, how many of you guys have actually dreamt the American dream for yourself? Not saying no one has, of course people have, but for yourself. A lot of people don't want to live in the suburbs.
No, right? Hell no. But I think I kind of don't have a city.
And a lot of people don't want a family.
All right, dogs are too much work. I am not gonna hold you. I mean, it's too much work.
Or at least don't want kids, right? So it's just like thinking about, oh, this is the way that I have to live my life. For me, the American dream is dead. It's dead. I think for you, what you need to do is figure out exactly what you want to do and what you want in life. What do you enjoy doing, right? What do you get pleasure from?
Yeah, that's what I've recently had to do. I've had to like sit myself down and go like, dang, like, what do I actually enjoy, bro? Like, I enjoy making videos. I enjoy working out. I enjoy like, I don't know, drawing and stuff. So I just do those things and I'm content. I like watching Netflix shows whenever I get the chance, sit down and binge some stuff. I like to stream. I feel like a lot of the things that I like to do are kind of like conflict with each other, though, because if I indulge in one, then it kind of overshadows another, and then blah blah blah. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I like, but do you guys ever experience that too? Like all the things that make you happy and stuff kind of overlap and make it like difficult to be fully happy because you overindulge in one area, I guess, and then you don't indulge as much in other areas, and so you feel like there's a sense of like you're just lacking in like another area. I don't know, it's weird. It's like a balancing act. I feel like that's what like the younger years of everyone's life pretty much is. It's like how to manage time and blah 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 blah, stuff like that. But let me know in the comments down below.
Monetize that and do that, right? Of course, everyone's not going to make the same, but if you're enjoying yourself, I think that's what matters. If you truly enjoy what you're doing, if you truly have a good time doing it, if you love doing it, if it's just like, this is nothing, right? This is nothing. If that's something that you really like doing, then do that. I was caught in the trap of the American dream.
Yep.
This is why I was even considering going to grad school. Why? I only wanted to go to grad school so that I had the potential.
The potential, bro. That's what kills me. Yo, they say like, yo, go to school, graduate high school, go to college, so you'll have the potential to get the job that you want, the job that you went to school for, which is a very specific job, right? Like think about that. You go through all that schooling. Now, the years that are free, you got to do those. I mean, come on, man, like knock that out. But the years that you have to pay to go to school, right? We do that so that we have a fighting chance to be possibly employed at the place that we went to school for, or like for the thing that we went to school for. And what happens, and that's what it's interesting, because when I was like, 19? No, not even, earlier than that. I was like 14 when I asked about this, but I was 19 when I asked people in my work center, when I got to my when I was at my first base and stuff. I was asking people that were much older than me. They were like in their 30s, and I'm like, hey, because I was taking college classes at the time. I'm like, hey, did any of the people that she went to college with or high school with, right? Like when they went to college and everything and they graduated with their bachelor's degree, how many of those guys are actually working the jobs that they went to school for. And unanimously, everyone said basically nope, none of them. Right? There'll be like 1 or 2 people that actually like got to get their dream job, but that's out of a boatload of friends, right? Like, so out of like maybe 15, 20 people I asked, 1 or 2 people out of the 15, 20 people I asked of their friends, actually got their dream job. So it goes to show, man, like a lot of times, like a lot of that is a waste. So you have to really create what you want for yourself as early as humanly possible. So basically stepping outside of the matrix, because I feel like that's what we've created for ourselves, like a kind of like our own pseudo like world and shit like that, like at least in America, bro, like it's like this big bubble of like, oh, this is what success is, if you're not living like this, you're not successful, blah 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 blah, right? And I'm like, dang, that's toxic. Like I find pleasure in just the little things, you know. I do like to indulge from time to time, but it's not to impress anybody, it's just to make myself feel happy, you know what I mean? Like I just want to be happy, bro, like just like anybody else. But I feel like everybody else is so caught up with how they can impress other people with their own happiness, you know. It's weird.
To make more money so that I could use that money to then get that big house, to then get that fancy car.
Yup.
Again, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Nothing is wrong with the house. Nothing is wrong with the car inherently. But if it's forcing you to do something or go somewhere or work somewhere or be somewhere that you truly despise, and you're doing that just to get to that, or just because you want to maintain that, then you are living a false dream, because that's not your dream. It's not your dream. Doing something to make money just so you can get something that you don't even want is insanity.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Insanity.
Absolutely.
The new iPhone comes out every year.
Yes. Yo, I've gotten so sick of that shit, bro. I think I literally gave up on updating my iPhone in 2016 or 17. Was it 17? 2017. Yes, it was 2017. It was the year I gave up on updating my iPhone, because literally I had just bought one the previous year and they were saying the next iPhone was going to be revolutionary, all these new features and blah blah blah, and they took away the damn headphone jack. I was so mad. I'm like, what? Like, and the camera's not even that good. The camera's trash. Like, what the fuck? They took away so much shit. And then like they updated the phone, they kept updating it. Then they got rid of the home button. And I'm like, there's no headphone jack, there's no home button. What? Because I know everything's touch now and blah blah blah. Now they have Face ID and all this fancy schmancy stuff. I sound like an old man, but you know, my point is, I gave up on keeping up with that shit until my phone physically fails and I can't turn it on anymore. I'm gonna be sticking with the hunk of junk I got right now, but it's just ridiculous because I feel like it's like the keeping up with the Joneses. You know what I mean? Like that saying, just trying to have the latest everything and constantly updating everything. I just can't do it, bro. I can't. And the funny thing is, iPhone itself was a sign of a social status thing for most Americans. Isn't that a weird thing? If you guys notice, in Germany and Europe, almost everybody uses WhatsApp. Almost everybody does. But here, most people use iMessage. iMessage is popular, like, and I thought that was a worldwide thing. Like, oh, everyone uses iMessage. You have an iPhone, you clearly use iMessage. It's more convenient. It's super effective, whatever. But that's not the case. America has a high population of people who use iMessage, and it's kind of insane. I do like Apple, but it's just like, bro, like they are beating their fan base into their customer base, I should say, into the ground relentlessly. And it's sad because I'm like, bro, I'm not about to. At one point I would have fought crowds of people to get the latest iPhone because I was naive, but knowing what I know now, I'm like, no, bro, as long as it does what I need it to do, which is call, have access to Instagram, and you know, text, I'm good.
Well, I got the iPhone X, the 10X. It's updating right now.
Damn.
Got the same iPhone 10X, drop the dumbbell on it, it works though. I'm not upgrading. I don't care how much Apple slows down my phone. I'm not upgrading. It's not gonna happen.
Nope.
Because it works just fine.
Yes.
For me. But see, if I was still in that same mentality, feeling like I had to have the latest.
Look at this. this is the line for the new iPhone, bro. And the crazy thing is, the line never changes. It's the same line every year. It's like there's more people that wait in this line than I think wait in lines during Black Friday. And I think that's ridiculous. Like, people would rather wait 4 hours to pay pretty much a mortgage payment for a cellular device that comes out every single year. And the funny thing is, these same people buy the new phone every single year, than just like spending it on something more, enjoyable. Maybe a few extra dinner dates or something, or I don't know, something where you can indulge and use that money more effectively. But like, bro, like, what? This is like a waste, bro. Like, I'm glad I woke up out of that situation, because I'm like, damn, like,
I want to upgrade it. You don't really start thinking like this until you step out of the matrix.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
The thing is, you are always chasing someone else's dream. You are always chasing what someone else told you that you should have. Someone told you to go.
Look at this. Don't indoctrinate your children. Teach them how to think for themselves, how to evaluate evidence, and how to disagree with you. Absolutely. I feel like that's a big thing in America, and maybe it could be worldwide too, but specifically in America, that people have a huge problem with here that I've observed, and it's the element of disagreement. People hate it when you disagree with them, because it makes them feel belittled or stupid, or they feel like you're just not on the same wavelength. If you have a disagreement with someone here, it's almost like all adult discussion gets thrown out the window, and then insults get hurled, and calls of character get brought into question, and blah 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 blah, whole bunch of craziness. But in Germany, it seems like the conversations are a lot more forward. Like, it's like, if there's disagreements, there's ways to go about them. Like, people say their piece, and then they either get to an agreement on things, or they just maintain their disagreement respectfully. Not all the time, obviously, but more times than I feel like it happens here in America, for sure. I saw an interesting comment on Reddit. It was from a user from Germany, and they said that someone told him that to have a conversation with an American, and you guys can let me know in the comments down below if this is like your experience as well, you have to start off agreeing with a point that the American has brought, right? Like, if you guys are like arguing or having a discussion, you're like, I agree with this, but it's how you should start. And then it lessens their defense mechanism. So like, if someone says, I agree with what you said, but then I feel less likely to attack you in an argument, But if you just go like, I disagree with you, and boom, 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 then I immediately go into fight mode, and I'm like, dang, like, why are you just disagreeing with me? Blah, 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 So if that's an experience you guys have had, let me know in the comments down below. This is a very good video. I wanted to share this with you guys. This is, whoo,
and get this thing.
Mashallah.
A lot of times it might be your parents.
True.
Right? A lot of times it just might be someone you look up to, or some guidance counselor who has had student loan debt since 1975, telling you to go to college and to get into debt. Most people don't need to go to college.
Nope.
I'm telling you.
Yes, bro. And it's so crazy. Every time I say that to people get mad as fuck at me. They're like, what? But college is good. Like, what the fuck? Nah, bro. Like, you don't have to go to college to make a bag. And I feel like this false narrative of like going to college to get a great job and it's bullshit. Because the thing is, what if you went to college to get the job that you wanted to get the job for because it pays a lot, but you hate the job completely? You fucking hate it, and you love working at a grocery store, but it doesn't pay as much. It allows you to pay all of your bills, though. You just can't go on crazy fancy vacations and stuff like that now, but you also get more time to yourself, and you can enjoy more time with friends and family and whatever, and not have to break your back working 7 back-to-back 12-hour shifts for weeks upon months on end. Like, it's insane. So you don't need school, bro. Like, you don't need school. Like, you can find other ways to make money legally. I have to say that legally, because the way people like to say it in America is like, if you're not going to school, then you wanna do a legal activity to make your money, then, huh? I'm like, no, idiot. Like, there's plenty of things you can do without a college degree and still make a living, and for yourself and whatnot. You might not be able to have as much as people who do go to school and stuff, but you can also make more than people who go to school if you play your cards right. I just feel like there has to be a certain level of risk taking that you would have to do at that point, and then that's 100% up to you, of course. But I just think that there's like this one track direction that they're pushing for everybody, and it's so exhausting. And I'm like, I'm not falling for it, bro. I'm not the one.com.
Take it from someone that's been to college. I have a college degree. Okay. So I'm not just one of these people that's talking about it, hasn't done it, didn't finish. I finished. I have a college degree. And I can tell you, most people don't need college.
Yep.
Most people need work experience.
Yes.
They want to work for someone else.
Yes, bro. People value experience over the actual degree. Bro, I saw that shit too. It's like, my friend showed me a resume because like he went to school. It doesn't really matter what he went to school for. But when he showed me like what the job requirement was, it basically said you needed to have like 5 years of experience working like in the service industry, retail, whatever, right? And or like some sort of internship. 5 years of experience, though, is what he needed. And I'm like, what, bro? You were in college for 4 of those years. Like, what the heck? So guess what? Looks like you have to work an entry job to the entry level position of the job you wanted to even get the job you wanted. You know, it's a whole song and dance that no one tells you about. They sing it to you in a very tantalizing way as a kid. They're like, you need to finish school, little Billy, so you can get big and strong and go to college where you can get bigger and stronger and get the job you want. But the thing is, there's steps missing in between the college part and the job part. Like there's a lot of steps missing. You finish college and you apply to get the job and you get denied and you wonder, why did I get denied? And you're like, oh, because nobody told me I'm supposed to be interning and building up this experience literally in my senior year of high school, throughout college as well, mind you. And then now you have the experience to go along with the education to get this damn job, because they want experience. So they're not just hiring some amateur working in their company, because every company, once again, wants to be the best, because capitalism, everybody, America, let's go.
Most people need business knowledge, right? Entrepreneurial knowledge, right? Knowledge on marketing and sales. That's what people need. Knowledge on establishing an audience, establishing a brand. You don't need English 303.
You don't.
You don't need foundations of economics.
You don't.
You definitely don't need differential equations.
Hell no. What the fuck you be using differential equations for? Unless you're coding or something. If you're an engineer or some shit, then yeah, you might need that. But like, bro, half those classes you take are useless. I'm like, bro, what are the classes I actually need to take? It's like, okay, I'll put it this way. If I want to learn how to make thumbnails in Photoshop, why the fuck do I need to learn Pythagorean theorem? The software does it for me. And if it doesn't work, guess what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be using another software to make the thumbnail. Like, I'll watch YouTube videos on how to make the goddamn thumbnail, and that's it. I'm not about to go and learn 50 other unrelated things to say that now I have all this extra ass knowledge I'm never going to use, and I know how to make a thumbnail. I want to make my time, count. I want to make my time count. I want to use my time as efficiently as possible. So I'm going to look up all the little pieces related to what I want to know, what I desire to know. Just like how it should be for school, right? I feel like schools would be more desirable to go to if they taught exactly what you needed to know for, whatever profession you want to get into, instead of teaching you the same things 50 times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like high school senior year, college freshman year, and college sophomore year teach you basically the same shit. It's like senior year 2 more years in a row, and it's ridiculous. And then you don't actually get into your specialty until your junior year, your 3rd year in college. And I'm like, damn, like, Why does it take so long? Why can't you just skip to that? Learn that shit and then be employable and stuff after you get out. It's just a lot of shit, bro. It's a lot of shit people don't talk about. But I'm glad we're talking about it today. Having a very extensive conversation about it. But hopefully you guys are getting something out of this, because this is insane.
You want to be in engineering, in banking, in those specific fields, yes.
Yes.
But you going and getting that expensive business degree,
Yep.
to come out making $45,000, $55,000 a year, that's why you feel cheated.
Because guess what? Regular people with no degree make the same amount of money, bro. Same amount of money. Same amount of money. Just saying, that's the harsh reality. And it's crazy because by the time your third eye opens, it's too late. You've already done the school. You've already done all this shit. There are so many people I've met who don't use their degree. They have a bachelor's degree, so it makes them look sophisticated, but they're struggling like everybody else. There's literally nothing that degree has helped them do. Nothing at all. And if it did help them do something, it helped them do something like 20 years ago. It's ridiculous, man. I just...
You were chasing a dream that someone else told you to chase.
Yes.
So do the next coming youth and people a favor and tell them your experience so that they don't have to go through that.
Save them the time so we can start moving forward, bro. Like, literally, like, if you're good at something and you want to do, like, there's things you can do to get to where you want to get to, where you don't have to take the same path everyone else has taken. Like, I might have gotten to where I got a very specific way, but that doesn't mean that is the way to get there, because that might not work for somebody else. There might be a faster, more efficient way for someone to get to where I'm at now. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I feel like people have this like, well, this is guaranteed to work. And I'm like, no, that's like a safety bubble for you. It's like a comforting, it's like a pacifier for your parents. When your parents hear that you're in school, they now have something to flex on their peers. They're like, my daughter is in school, my son is in school, my blah 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 is whatever. And I'm like, are you in school for you, or are you in school for your family? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to, this is not a diss track to schooling and blah blah blah. I'm just saying, expand your mind and know that you can do a wide variety of things without taking the same path that everyone else is being pushed to take. You know, I thought people thought it might be weird that everyone's being herded in a certain direction, and I'm like, the millionaires are that way. They're that way. Why are we moving this way? They're like, oh, because everybody said we can live comfortably this way. I'm like, but the millionaires are that way. They're not walking with the herd. They're doing their own thing. Like, what the hell? Yeah, they're falling down and they're scraping their knees a little bit and getting lost, but they have way more money now. And they're actually at a better place. Crazy, right? Like, what happens when you think for yourself, man? Like, it's crazy as hell.
See, this is what'll happen. A lot of us will go through something and we'll be so pissed off and be so bitter that we went through it that we don't even want to share what we went through with someone else, because, well, if I went through it, then they got to go through it too.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You can help the next person coming behind you, so that they don't have to suffer like you're suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think most people are going to find fulfillment, even if you make less, if you're doing what you love. I think you're going to find fulfillment.
Absolutely.
If you do have a desire for those things, then you're going to need to make more money. So I can understand why you're, hey, I'm in this position, you know, I hate this job. I would venture to say a lot of people hate their job.
True.
Or they're so-so.
Yeah.
They might not hate it, but it's like, I don't love it either.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not doing something that you truly love and are thrilled to do,
and
get a big boost from doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So most people are so-so, or they're okay with doing that. They're like, I'm good. Just so they can have those possessions and feel completed.
Funny thing is, a lot of times, because they're working so hard, you don't get the chance to enjoy what you are working for. So it's kind of ironic a little bit. It's like working really hard to get all these expensive things and have the ability to go on all these expensive vacations and do these things. But then when it comes down to it, you're so busy working your ass off that it's like, damn, when do you get to enjoy it for yourself? I mean, I think that's what I've recently admired about a few creators that I've been watching, because finally they've been talking about taking time for yourself, you know, because no one else is going to really push you to take time and treat yourself to a well-deserved vacation or a break than yourself. You know, it's like a much needed thing. A lot of times, like, people put the pressure on themselves to not take a break because they feel like they're gonna miss out on something, or miss out on, like, you know, more money or whatever. But the thing is, like, imagine like not being here on this planet tomorrow, and then your last memory was working your little ass off. If you enjoyed the work you did, then maybe it didn't feel like work. But if it's something that you genuinely don't like doing, like you genuinely do not like doing, then, you know, maybe you should reevaluate what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
And again, if that's you, this is no slight to you. That's fine. But for me, I'm good. I'm straight. Right? I'm okay. And I want to show other people that even if you stay in the States, which I encourage you to at least get a passport and try someplace else.
Yes,
even
please.
If you stay in the States, you don't have to stay in the States mentality. Okay. So not saying you gotta move, you gotta leave, but you gotta leave that mindset.
Yep.
That matrix mindset, you gotta leave it. Because you ain't never gonna get ahead, ever. Ever.
Nope.
You're never gonna get ahead.
Nope.
Living someone else's dream that they told you you need to have for yourself. So I hope that this video was able to help you guys.
That was a good video. Very good video. You guys let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Very insightful, because I feel like there has been this like constant question to me as to what I think the American dream is, and what it's turned out to be. Essentially, the American dream is a lie. It's a lie. It is definitely something that is tailored to fit a I don't know, it's very Hollywood, to put it very bluntly. It's very Hollywood, and I feel like it disregards people's individual desires to just settle for what they want to settle for, which society might think is less, right? They're like, oh, you deserve more than just a little tiny house and like a hole to piss in, and you know, ramen noodles for breakfast. But if that's what you want to live your life like, then live your life like that. Live your life for you. But it's such a weird thing that we're pushing this American dream mentality on people, because it's affecting everybody, literally everybody, in its own way, shape, or form. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is a very awesome video, very awesome topic, and I kind of wanted to get into more things like this because it really gets the brain juices flowing and whatnot. And I really want to see what you guys have to say in the comments down below, because I'm really curious as to what Germans think about the American dream, and you know, if they believe that it's still alive, or if most people think like me and this gentleman over here think as far as it being dead, because I definitely think it's totally dead, dude. The light bulb is out. But you guys just subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can push that 200 like goal, because little birdie said that we couldn't get there, and I'm trying to prove him wrong. That's pretty much it. Take care. Love you guys. Ciao, ciao.